All right, you guys, I know you're probably wondering why you're in my bedroom. Well, that's because I've got some goodies for you guys. I wanted to let you know that our friends at Bessa are literally giving away free toys and gift cards to everybody who signs up for our giveaway. Bessa is a company by women for all things sexual wellness. The mission is to empower everyone to embrace, explore, and celebrate their sexuality. So our friends at Bessa are going to give away some free toys and some gift cards for more toys. And I just have to tell you how great the Bessa line of products really is. So with me today, I have two of their products. I have the Air Vibe, and then I have the Pebble. So they come in these really cute cases. So I love that you can package them in discreet packaging, and then inside you have the toys. So this is the Pebble. The Pebble has suction and vibration, and they operate independently. It's ergonomic. It fits in your hand so comfortably. The material feels so soft, and there's none of those annoying vibration, suction pattern things going on. I just love it. The toys are rechargeable, and you can, when you're finished, you clean it and you can put it right back in its case and throw it in your purse, throw it in your nightstand, whatever you want to do. And then this one, the Air Vibe, love this one too. It has dual action stimulation. So it's going to stimulate your G-spot and your clit. It comes with this discreet case as well. It's waterproof, it's rechargeable, and it's silent but deadly. Let me tell you guys, everything about Bessa is great. I even love like this toy. It fits tight in the charging case, but it moves. Look at that. It's just amazing. So Bessa has so many different products, no matter what really gets you off. I want you guys to try them. If you want to enter the giveaway, make sure you sign up at the website that I have on the screen, or you can click the link in the description below. They are literally giving away free toys and gift cards to whoever wants to try it out. I mean, Bessa is just great. They come in these nice boxes. Inside of the box, you'll find your USB charging cord, and you can charge your toys inside of the case. I've already charged mine, and I feel like I'm about to start rambling. Go ahead and sign up for the giveaway right now. I am about to get busy, and y'all can listen to the show.
Yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is this mic on? Is this mic on? Hey, listen, man. It's the one and only trendsetter DJ Sense, and you're listening to CockTales. Dirty discussions with Kiki and Medinah Monroe. Yeah.
Today's cocktail is called the blush. The blush, to make the blush, you'll need 3 ounces of rosé wine, 3 ounces of club soda, some ice, strawberry halves for garnish. So here's how you're gonna make the blush. You're gonna add ice to a wine glass or a Collins glass, pour in the rosé wine and the club soda, garnish with a strawberry, and sip a blush. Before we talk about our live show in New York City, I want to introduce our guest this week, you guys. Okay, I normally am not a fangirl. I don't be fanning over nobody, but
she has been fangirling since before we got here. Forget that we had our own live show on Friday. Medinah didn't care about that. She was just like, Sunday, we are recording, and I'm so excited.
Y'all know I love comedy. Y'all know I love comedians. And one of my favorite comedians, who also is a podcaster and also just had a Netflix special drop, 37 and Single. We have Jared Freid here this week.
It's such a pleasure being here. This is way too much. I'm blushing. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. That drink sounds great.
I want to actually try to make it.
Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds easy. You know, it doesn't sound like it takes a lot. You know, I wouldn't do the 3 ounces. You know, they're like 3 ounces. You're like, yeah, pour.
Just pour.
Yeah. But no, it's such a pleasure to be here, and congratulations on the live show.
Thank
That's
you.
so great.
And we tried to get you on the last time we did a show at Caroline's in New York last year, but you were traveling and
booked and busy.
That's right. That's how I like it. That feel, you know, there's a little bit of insecurity that comes with booked and busy, because you're like, as long as I'm busy, I'm doing fine.
Right.
That's why you become booked and busy. But I like to go on the road. I go out. You were just at the show in Atlanta. That was so much fun. I went to the Atlanta
show. It was so much fun. Bae got me tickets for one of my birthday gifts. Was going to see him in Atlanta, but I had also seen him in Oklahoma City. I sound like a groupie, y'all.
You're not a groupie. I felt bad. We did did pictures after the Atlanta show, and they had it in a parking lot. It was in the, like
by the trash can.
By the trash can.
It was okay.
Where was the show?
It was at Center Stage.
Okay.
But he's nice because he was like, I'm gonna stay after and take pictures with the fans, and we would be like, y'all need to buy a package. What?
I think I'm moving towards package land because it's a lot.
It's a lot. You stay for about an hour and a half, sometimes even 2 hours. One time we did a meet and greet of like 89 people.
I think the most
takes
we've
a
ever
long
done is 100, and then it's like we want to be able to sit and talk, but it's like we have to be fair to everybody, so we got to snap these pictures and move it along.
Yeah,
right. And in this scenario, we had like we were doing it fast because they were telling us. First of all, there was like a bunch of like there was a group of like kids who were like
the Christian group. They were yelling Jesus stuff. It was very odd.
It was odd. They're screaming Jesus stuff at us. Which listen, if you like Jesus,
they were outside protesting or something.
It wasn't even protesting. They were just like, Jesus is here in our hearts, our spirits, and we're gonna scream it at y'all.
Well, we are laughing at jokes right now.
Right. Well, it was so interesting because it's like we were literally taking pictures in a parking garage next to a dumpster, and the sound echoes.
Yeah.
So these kids who looked like they were like 17 to 20 maybe, and they're like really into Jesus. Good for them. But then they're like, "Go Jesus!" screaming at us, but you couldn't hear
like a
anything. Like you couldn't
movie.
make out the words.
Yeah.
And then they started yelling at me specifically. They saw that people were getting in line to take pictures with me. They're like, "Jared, money isn't everything. It'll never make you happy." You're like, "What are you doing? What are you? Why are we?"
Welcome to the South, baby.
Oh my God, it was wild.
It was wild.
And so then I felt bad because like now you're like, as you said, like I want to give everyone a moment, and I want to like it is really nice to shake hands with people and say, "Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming," and to take a picture.
Yeah.
And then to have that be like to literally, because now I'm like, okay, come on, move it along, like so you
and
see.
nobody wants to do that, but they were like moving on. My eyes were closed. I was like, she was like, "That's your picture. Go ahead and go." I was like, "Well, he coming on my show next week." First of all, I was nervous he wasn't gonna know who I was. I was walking up, I was like, "I'm Medinah from CockTales. You're coming on my show next week." You know how you don't want someone to not know, so you just go ahead and tell them.
Say
but
everything.
You save your own soul by like over explaining who you are. I do that all the time. I'm Jared. I know you don't remember me. I know we met 17 minutes ago, but please, and then I know that move.
Okay, so Jared, we're gonna be talking a lot about dating, sex, relationships, all that good stuff. I wanted to know, what type of dater are you?
Ooh.
Like, would the people give you a 5-star Yelp review?
I think I'm an indulgent dater. Like if I'm going out, like we're going out. Like let's have drinks, let's have food, let's get all the appetizers.
I know that's right.
Right?
That's what I like to do.
That's what I like to do. I want to share. I want to get messy together. I want to have the drinks. I want to at the end go not to get someone drunk, but you go, let's enjoy and like have a night. So I think sometimes what happens from again, and I only say this because I gotten emails from women. I'm not saying from but it seems like sometimes it's like, when I get emails from women about their dating life, they'll be like, "We went on a 5-hour date," and I'm like, "No, you went on one date." One single date, that's it. So it's like, I think sometimes it's like, and he got 5 appetizers. Like the relation between.
You're saying so women look into it too deeply. It's like just because the date was 5 hours, that doesn't mean anything special.
Right. It doesn't mean anything. Like it's just one day. They left the house once. Yeah. That's the number that matters. So yeah. So like so again, like I think someone would go out with me and be like, "Wow, we had like a great time. We had a bunch of drinks. We got the appetizer, right." And I was like, "No, that's just how I have fun, So, and that's how I try to get to know someone. So, I think I would be considered an okay dater. I don't think there would ever be someone going, "Well, he, only wanted to go out for 20 minutes and have one drink." Maybe that's happened in the past once or twice, but
they were probably boring.
Right.
Do you think that when you take these women on the 5-hour-long dates and they do have a really good time, do you think their feelings get hurt when they're not the chosen one and you're just like, "This is just how I date"?
Maybe they don't maybe I'm not the chosen one, but I guess it could be seen that way that like, I guess the problem with dating is like, especially in 2023, is like we know too much.
Way too much.
We don't need, just like we're talking about, like when you see someone, you go, "Hi, I'm Medinah, remember me?" Like you save your feelings. It's hard to save your feelings in dating in 2023. You might be on one date with someone, have a really good time, and then you go back home, you open up the dating app, as you do, and you see they've like redone their whole profile. And it's like, you go, "Well, that can only mean they are still out here looking. Now, I would say I'm a guy who's been guilty of going on a great date and still being out there looking. That didn't have anything to do with like I hated the person I went on a date with or didn't have a good time. It was just a first date, so it's easy to like do that. You know, so
what makes you want to have a second date with somebody if the date does go well?
I think you got to be excited. I think excitement is like a key. Like, you know, it's hard to leave the house. It's hard to leave your phone. It's hard to like, you know, leave the comfort of your everyday thing. So I think
especially
excitement.
in New York.
And especially for us, we got to put makeup on, lashes. I got to do my hair. We better have some fun when I leave this place.
Right.
Yeah, because why am I here? My couch is very comfortable.
Right. I got my shows. I got, you know, my Netflix. You know, like, I don't know. It's, but this is all, you know, it's hard to talk about dating and be like super, super original because it's a lot dieting and exercise. I always say that. Like, you know, like, how do you lose weight? Diet and exercise. And then you go, well, what about, you know, is there a trick? You know, like
which diet? Which exercise?
Exactly. And like, oh, they all kind of work. You just have to be like moderate with everything. And you're like, dating is the same way where it's like, you know, like I would say, like, I got to be excited for the second date. What makes you excited? I don't know. Good conversation, fun time. That's just a feeling, you know, like it's hard. That's why we have to like, and something that I really try to do for myself is like, you have to be okay with your taste. You know, you know, I put up these ick videos. You've definitely
I literally
seen them.
have this up next. What are your dating icks? Because at his show, he was like, what are some of y'all's icks? We've even talked about it on our show. But I don't know what your icks are.
See, my icks are like, it's hard to say because, you know, and again, I talk about it on the special, like, there's no ick for men because generally, like, if they want to fuck you, then that's pretty much you know, like, it's tough to, like, ick a guy who wants to fuck you.
So y'all will look past the ick. You're like, I don't care.
Yeah, that is a little weird, but they're hot. You know, like, you know, so I don't know. It's like you gotta have, you know, there was a woman that commented. So I just put up a video of a woman's ick was like that he bends at the waist to tie his shoes instead of at the knee.
That's an ick, though. That is because why
never
would you
even
bend
thought
it down
about
like
that.
that?
Right. So I impersonated on stage. There's a video of me bending at the waist and like, wow, it's the whole point of the video for me was like, wow, he was one bend of the knee away from still fucking. You know, like how sad for that guy. And there was a commenter and I thought it was super interesting. And this happens a lot with the ick. She goes, that's delusional. Who could get the ick from a guy bending at the waist? You're out of your mind. And I'm like, no. She goes, am I crazy for thinking that this is a little too, you know, whatever, like a little too picky?
She's being extra.
And I go, I think it's crazy to believe that your ick is the same as every other woman's ick.
Right.
You can
Everybody's
agree.
different.
Right. Everyone's different.
And
so
the
that,
whole point of the icks is sometimes there are these ridiculous things where it's like,
Or like really
Absolutely.
petty things, but it's like, this is what makes you like what you like.
Right, and one woman's ick is another woman's husband. So, like, you know, and I notice this from the female side of dating only because I talk a lot about dating and I receive emails from women, is this need to be correct. And that's, I think, like a very, like, I do think that's societal. I do think that's the pressure that women put on their friends or people put on women. And I only notice it because that's not my world, you know? So, like, but you see that like, this woman who was like, I don't want to fuck a guy because he bent at the waist, she's right. The woman that says, who cares, is right. You know, like, so this idea that we have to agree, you know, because, and I think that happens because it's like, you know, don't complain that you don't have a boyfriend if you're not going to fuck the guy who bends at the waist.
and that's crazy.
And that's crazy. You're allowed to complain about not having a boyfriend and also not want to fuck a dude who bends at the waist. Both can be true. Both are true. You know, so I think it's interesting that, like, I am not under that pressure at all. You know, no one's ever looked. But I think that's, like, the most important thing in dating is, like, being like, I don't like that. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean. We're not the match.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
But a lot of women, I feel like, will be like, well, you know how you said, like, men will still just fuck.
Right.
We will try and go on the date and we're just, this is why a lot of us be single, though. It's too weird.
Well, that's why women complain about their time being wasted because they're like, I'm on the date with someone. I've already
We care so much. We're like, this has to be the person.
This has to be it because I've given them, like, out of the 10 boxes, he's got 4 checked. All right, I'll go.
He's not that cute, but I'm gonna just go because he's nice and funny.
And maybe I'm surprised, and that's where the it comes in, because they go, what the fuck, he bent to the waist? You know, like, and you go, I'm out. Right.
Or if your butt crack is showing, if you bend over and your butt crack, I don't like you anymore. I'm not.
Right, you don't want to be able to fit a pencil in the butt crack.
Why do I see your booty?
You can't feel that?
Well, he's showing you how big his anus is for the butt plugs that you guys have. I didn't realize that there were different sized butt plugs.
Yeah, I mean, some people have had a lot of things stuck up those booty holes.
Right.
So they might need a bigger one to...
Over time, right? I guess when, that's the problem with butt plugs.
Right. Jared, what is your type? Because every time I listen to the show and I hear you talk about women, I'm always like, the day that I see you with a girlfriend or a wife, I'm really gonna be looking at her like, okay.
Oh, I love curvy women. I've always that's so my type.
Okay.
Like you are your
curvy meaning like thick.
I like thick women. I it's such a hard thing for men to talk about in that world. Like you can't, like, I don't know. You don't know what's appropriate. You don't want to like say something. No, but I like, you are your For You page. You know, like, I think men especially, they are their For You page. They're men look at women. You know, like, that's it. Like, that's why female influencers have so many followers. Like, there's a lot of men there too. That's why male influencers don't exist. No man is following a guy for style tips, right? And no woman is like, I gotta follow this dude because he's got a fat ass.
Because we do not like big booty men over here at all. Take that big butt somewhere else.
But guys all have I think, I'll speak for myself. Yeah, you have types, and I definitely, that's like looks wise. Yeah, that's what I've always been into.
Does her face need to be pretty?
Yeah, pretty to me, but what's pretty, I don't know,
pretty
so
subjective.
But personality-wise, I think a good relationship is good improv. It's two people. It's not stand-up. Like, I don't want to perform for someone. I want to be able to sit in the corner and like talk shit with them.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's like really the personality I'm looking for, and also to like just connect and not feel like I have, like I've been saying a lot, like you want to feel like you're 6 months in on date one, and that's not easy to find. At all. That's not, that's why you go on all these dates and you go, this was an interview, and that's why it's so hard to like the date 2 question you ask, because you go, it was fine, it was a little bit of an interview, but that's what date 1s are. But then you go on a good date 1 and you go,
okay, this is how it's supposed to be.
And it's like, I think maybe, the best advice is like, it'd be okay, like not going on date 2 with just an okay date. Like you'll have a better date but it's hard to believe in, because that's the problem, is like, you're like, there's got to be that ghost out there. But that's why we stick with what we know and not the unknown.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
sorry to get you guys just exhaled like I depressed everybody. I'm sorry.
It just made me think. But we are going to move on to weird sex really quick, and when we come back, we've got more questions for you.
Love it.
You said a man is not a necessity. A man is a luxury, like dessert.
Yeah. A man is absolutely not a necessity.
Did you mean that to sound mean and bitter?
Oh, not at all. I adore dessert. I love men. I think men are the coolest. But you don't really need them to live.
Okay, you guys, so this week's weird sex story is actually an update. So I did a weird sex story some time ago about this girl. She got high with her boyfriend, and she like Jeffrey Dahmer'd his ass. She butchered him up.
Oh, I remember
like
that
she
one.
put his head in like a crock pot.
Wait,
and,
why?
Like, she just did it when she was high. I don't really know why.
She didn't know why.
Yeah. I mean, the crock pot was in the garage, and she put it in there. She put his dick in like a cooler and some other stuff at his mom's house, of all places.
What was his mom having a yard sale? Was all the crock pot, the cooler?
I guess she just kept all the junk in the garage. Okay. And so they were in the garage getting high, and then something came over her, and she decided, you know what? I'm about to kill you and chop you up into pieces. So she kills him. She puts all these body parts and different things in the van, and she gets caught. So she was in jail. We've been
Wait a
waiting
minute,
on her
what?
Senate. Yeah, this is
Hold
real.
on, this is a real
This is
story?
her actual
This is a real story.
Wait, she got high and chopped him up?
Yeah, that's why his head was in a crock pot. I'm sorry, like she
Oh my God, I thought she
him.
was like doing
just put
something
the
like
head-
put your head in the crock pot and
No,
I'll
she
kiss
killed
you.
him.
No.
And she had sex with him somewhere after
And she's
she
still
started.
alive today? Like
She's alive. She just got sentenced. She's in prison. So she got sentenced to life. She went to
crazy.
court when she was doing the trial. She attacked her attorney in the middle of court, like physically attacked her. And then, so when she comes back to court for her sentencing, they put this thing on, I forget what it's called, but it's like covering her face from here down because she
Right.
was spitting on people
She's
in the
probably
courtroom.
biting and
How old
yeah.
is she? Do we know?
And 30-something, I think. But she's going to spend the rest of her natural life in prison.
I gotta say,
And
when
that is wild.
I don't think you're like, again, do you think she was like normal then chopped him up? Like,
I don't think
that's the
there's
thing.
no
You have to
way.
know that there's warning signs before you
Like,
go
you
back.
were attacking the attorney.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
Like, you went to court and you were whooping ass. Like, girl, you're already going down. You murdered somebody,
Chopped them up.
and left it for their mother to find in the garage of all places.
When you guys said we're gonna do weird sex, I thought it was gonna be like, we stuck
like-
the vase up his ass. And
No,
it's
that
like,
happens.
awkward. So y'all do
Yeah,
awkward
yeah,
sex.
awkward
in the
sex.
Sometimes it's like that, but I have to.
Sometimes we go there, it turns into a whole
She-
news story.
I mean, so
does.
there's the update is that she's got life in prison.
She's
The girls are crazy sometimes. You got to be careful out here. And you
Taylor
are in New York,
business.
so I know these bitches be out here acting wild.
And she's just in there smiling. Like, something
No,
is
that's
wrong with this lady. Look at
that's
her.
a psycho. That's
Yeah.
that's like the
So I'm
devil
glad they got her.
on earth.
glad
So she
they-
can't do that to anybody else.
Well, thank goodness.
Thank God for his mother, because maybe never would have found him. Anyway, thank you guys for sending me that update. I was wondering what happened to her. So keep the updates coming, because there's a lot of wild people out here, and I need to know what's happening.
People will be like messaging her now.
She's probably going to have groupies.
Yeah.
They'll
she'll-
probably send her money and all kind of
They're
stuff.
going to send her crock pots.
People are weird. Oh my God.
Chicken broth. Okay, we are going to play our game that we created, Jared. It's called
Love
I'm
it.
Curious to Know.
Okay.
Each card is curated by Kiki or myself, and it's a game that we always tell people take on a date with you so it doesn't feel like an interview, or play with your person because you probably don't know each other. So we're just trying to help the people out.
It's a great idea.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sometimes people have a hard time talking.
Right. And then
Or just
here's-
thinking of stuff. you
Well,
know?
Yeah.
Right. And you get caught in like what are you doing this weekend? And it's like I always think the sooner you say what's your plan this weekend coming up is the worse the date. So it's like because you just like looking for something to get things going, and a game like this will basically. I always say it's like someone's always like comics. Do you like getting notes from people? I'm like I always like a note because I have no idea what door in my brain it's going to open. If someone asks you a question, you go, oh, this story I haven't thought of in years.
Right.
It's just a way to get going. I love it.
Show your personality a little. So
Yeah.
I'll go first, Jared. I'm curious to know, have you ever gone through your partner's phone?
I don't think I have. And that was a very long pause that made it sound
really
like
had to think about it.
No, because I was like, have I done that? I don't think I have. I have seen over their shoulder things that, you see like the thing pop up, the notification, you go, and notifications tell you a story. The data, Bumble popped up. Okay, good to know.
Thought this was more serious.
Right. You see the message. And here's another one I've seen. It's, so I haven't actively gone through it, but I got good peripherals. Okay.
Jared is nosy and sneaky.
Right. I'm nosy, but I'm not looking to hurt my own feelings. So like I think I'm secure enough. Like I'm secure enough to not have to like pick up a phone and be like, what the fuck is going on here? Or I've been secure enough. I can't speak for the future, but I've been secure enough in my relationships to not have to like pick up someone's phone to go look through it. But I have seen, like, the one thing you see is when someone goes to Instagram and they go to search, and you just see like the last 10 names they've searched. So you see, like, I've seen myself.
That's weird. How would you feel if you went on a date with someone, y'all were looking at something on Google and your name popped up?
I would be like, what were you looking for?
I can understand why.
What were you looking for?
But I would empathize with, like, I understand 2023. You Google
wanna
someone,
know.
you go out with someone, especially women for a guy, like, again, the woman chopping the guys up, that's usually the man doing that. So, like, it's nice to see
I need
that
to
we've
make sure you haven't done
progressed.
this before. Were you a previous weird sex story? I don't know.
Right. You know, listen, if someone went on a date with me, they had no idea who I was, and then they Googled me and they saw Jared Freid, you know, You Up podcast, dating podcast, talking about being single, I can understand why someone would go, no, this ain't for me. Like, I'm not looking to get into that world. I'd rather not go.
Yeah.
So I can understand. I can also understand why that would make them curious. So, you know, I get the Googling, but
yeah.
But I haven't gone.
Open another tab so I don't have to see it. Okay. Tell me about one of your most embarrassing dating experiences.
Oof. Most embarrassing dating experience. You know, they probably go into like the sex stories at the end. You wanted to ask me about a sex story. Like, I've definitely like, you know, not every sexual experience is a home run. Okay.
That is true.
You know, like, and I think
really
men
true.
especially, we're like baseball pitchers. You know, sometimes we're going to, you know, pitch a perfect game, and sometimes we're going to get knocked out of the fucking park. And, you know, again, like, nerves, like when I'm comfortable with someone, that's why like men get girlfriend confidence.
What's girlfriend confidence?
Girlfriend confidence is when a guy thinks too much of himself because he has a girlfriend who fucks him. So he thinks he's like good in
Because
bed
he's not
and like good at talking to
Right.
women. Like, he doesn't have to like, he has a woman who laughs at his jokes, but the jokes are always easier to laugh at when you know someone.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're killing it with your girlfriend because
she knows you.
She knows you and likes you.
And she might be fake laughing.
Right.
But if you got to get back out here in the real world,
Right,
what's up?
I'm unimpressed.
Right. So you see like your buddies that get in relationships, they're like 6 months in, they're like, you know, start thinking that they're hot shit. And then you're like, yeah, okay. And then, you know, they're like, oh, if I were you, I'd be out. You know, it's like, if you were me, you'd be a shell of a man. So like when it comes to like sex, you know, like, when I would definitely have been in situations embarrassing, like go home with someone, you're like, time to kill it. And it's like, you know, 2 seconds in, and you're like, fuck.
It's so much pressure.
It's so much pressure. Like, you got
Inexpensive.
inexpensive. You got to be good at sex. You need to be funny. You need to
Right.
have a
You have
good
to
job.
at least look
Like, it's-
decent.
We can. Wow. I thank you, God.
We
for
can
making
really
me understand
Finally,
it a bit
someone
better.
is
We get it. That's why we
feeling
love
for
it
the
over
men.
here.
Finally.
Okay, my last one.
Yeah.
Jared, I'm curious to know, how do you feel about open relationships?
I think they take over the conversation too much. Open relationships exist. This is not saying that you can do whatever you want. I think they get talked about more than they are actually being done. Like, to me, it's a subsect of a subsect, but they always get brought up because they're interesting. There are people that can do them, but what I've noticed about the people who do open relationships is they are like the most communicative, contract laden relationships. So whenever the open relationship gets brought up, it's always by someone who I think is looking to get out of a relationship, and then they're like looking at it. Gets
I just
used.
want to segue into a new
Right.
relationship
It's like
by opening up the relationship.
Because
It's a
if you're not into
pre-breakup.
it, now we can argue about why you don't want me to have the sexual desires that I've been wanting, and
And
now
then
I
you can
think we
dip
need
your
to
wa-
break up.
Yeah, and then you can try it out with the other people to make sure that you really want to go back
Right.
out in the streets. And it's like, maybe I don't.
I feel bad for open relationship people because it's like a community that gets infiltrated by kind of the worst type
People
of
who just wanna
person.
play.
They
Yeah.
want to play, and they also want to use the open relationship as like kind of like to gaslight someone into like what you're saying. Like, now you're mad at someone that they don't want to have an open relationship, but like those open relationship people are weirdos. Like I say that like lovingly, like you know, if you're into some, if you're like. Because when you meet them, they're like, you know, they're dream catcher and the windshield, you know, type of people. Like, they're like, they're not like everyday Jims and Joes, you know, like they're like, they've devoted their life to something that is weird and extreme. And if that's what they want to do, that's good for them. But like, most people aren't weird and extreme. Most people are normal, center of the bell curve type of people.
Have you ever been to a sex club?
No, someone offered once and I didn't go.
You were
Why
like,
not? Too much?
It
Too
was
wild?
not too much. I think there's like a fear of like, I don't think men are really given, like if a guy goes to a sex club, he's like a weirdo. if a woman goes, ooh, you know,
It depends on where you go. And New York has some good ones.
I've heard this, but I'm just saying, like, male sexuality is not given the leeway that female sexuality is given. And I'm not saying we're like, I'm not trying to make us into victims. I'm just saying, like, if a guy comes into a bar, like I've used this example before. If a woman walks in the bar and or if a guy walks in a bar and you go, that guy loves butt plugs. Like you just knew that about it.
Everybody's laughing.
You guys laugh right away. You laugh right away. Listen, but if and everyone laughs, it's a little make fun of. Maybe one person's like, "Ooh, but most part, they're the joke.
Yeah.
If a woman walked into a bar and someone goes, I heard that chick likes butt plugs. Everyone's like, oh shit.
Let's send her a drink.
Right.
What are you drinking today?
Again, that's like a very like small example that's not true, but it's like, it's kind of shows how we
people
think
look at men.
differently. So like the idea of like a sex club, so I have more, you know, to lose then, you know, it's just not such a, it's not, I'm not saying lose. I don't know what I would even lose, but you have, you're like, I have to be totally sure and confident in what I'm looking for in a sex club. I don't even know what goes on. I guess I would go and have a drink. I don't even know what happens
Wait
there.
till you go to a sex club.
Right.
Jared.
I would go just to have a drink just to look at the other people.
They have one in Atlanta. It's called Trapeze, and they have them in a few different places. There's one in Florida too, and they have a buffet.
Oh.
And people, so you can like eat.
Yeah, you walk in, there's breakfast.
Really?
Depending on the time of day. Like if it's 1 a.m, you can eat and you just sit there in your towel.
You feel like you're on a cruise ship, and then if you want to go back in the room and play, you go back there. And there's a
or you can play
table.
pool.
Oh, I'd be the guy at the buffet with like a full plate, like with like a half a
snacks.
sandwich in my mouth. Like, who would want to fuck me then?
They're getting fucked
that
in
guy
there.
that smells like salami.
That's funny. Okay, so
I have one more.
okay.
My last one is, how important is sex in a relationship for you?
I think it's pretty important. I think it's important to be like, to be able to go back and forth between sexual and fun. So it's like, you know, because sex is kind of like, if you think about sex, it's like, you have to be able to like laugh with this person afterwards. Like you have to go from like being kind of a version of yourself to being your real self. So it's like you have to be able to like see someone in different ways. Like, so you have to be able to see someone as a sexual beast, fun, you know, someone that you kind of sweat for, but also you have to be able to have like dinner with them and hear them fart. You know, like, so like so I think it's important to like share both, you know, the physical stuff with them, but also like the mental and like, you know, all that, you know, that goes with that, and trust. And trust is a big part of it.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. Well, that was I'm Curious to Know. If you guys would like to purchase I'm Curious to Know, make sure you go to I'mCuriousToKnow.com.
Buy
They
it.
are
This is a
in
great
stock
game.
right now. Thank you.
Okay, so the way they kind of do things on UP is you guys base some of the topics off of emails. And so
Yes.
there was an email that was short enough to send because our listeners be sending
I always try to
essays.
tell-
I love it because they put the details in there. I do love it. But for this one, it was a short one. I was like, you know what? This would be a good topic.
Women especially love details. They get, and what
I
I
want to
always
know what
tell,
color the dress was.
oh my God. And yeah, it was a fall night. Yeah. I always say, like, when we write emails, like, if you just go from thumb to pointer finger, make a little bracket, that's a perfect email to me.
Unless you know that the details are needed and they're good. Because some of them we're like, I see, baby. Yeah.
It's like, what is it?
But this is one that's
Penthouse
small, like you
Forums.
said.
This one's short. So she says, I think it's a she. Hey, ladies, I love your show. Let's say you guys have turned me out a little bit with your little nasty tales. Anyways, me and my husband are having a discussion about men not having emotions for a woman they are fucking. My husband thinks women are not capable of just fucking with no emotions. He thinks that a woman has no morals if she fucks with a man with no emotions attached.
Well, damn.
I'm
to read me like that.
I'm trying to explain to him, we just like y'all. We can fuck and not get attached. I want to know, what are y'all's perspectives on double standards when it comes to men and women getting emotionally attached with fucking? Can it be just sex for both men and women? Or with women, do we always get attached? Sincerely, a bitch that want to know.
So what do you think?
A bitch that want to know. I like a bitch that want to know. You know, it's funny because, again, it goes back to like diet and exercise. Like the answer when you speak in extremes, you're wrong. So for her, when she says, and what he's doing, he's trying to win the argument by shaming her.
Yeah, you've just shamed the fuck out of me, whoever you are.
Right.
That's very nasty and very rude.
To say you have no morals if you
Right.
if you can have sex with someone and no emotion involved.
How can men have morals and do the same thing?
Right. It's just wrong. I just disagree with that completely. But I would say, like, on average, I think women more often than not get emotionally attached with someone that they've been physical with. I think for men, I think a lot of guys can shower off a sexual experience, as bad as that sounds and icky as that sounds. I do think because, and I'll bring it back to dating. If you make it, like, let's take sex out of this. If you're on a date with a man, he's sexually attracted to you. He doesn't leave the house. The penis is a strong dictator. The penis will not let a man leave the house to go on a date with someone he's not already attracted to. So again, from that premise alone, he is doing, it's very animalistic. As we said in the beginning of this podcast, a lot of women will go on dates with, they got 4 out of 10 boxes checked. And you go, well, maybe I could be convinced along the way to be sexually into this guy. So just from that angle alone, like if we stick to that premise, like you've put in way more thought into this person than the man has given you. So
he barely even remembers your name.
Right.
It's like, what's her name again? Pull up Tinder.
Right. Girl, I want to fuck. You know, what was her sign off?
Bitch, I want to know.
Bitch, I want to know. Yeah, bitch, I want to fuck. You know, that's what he knows her as. So like, I think he's trying to win this argument by adding shame to it, because it's like, well, the morals thing is stupid. But I would say, like, the premise of, like, can men on average be able to have, like, sex in a way that doesn't involve emotion? Yes. I also think that's a lot of society stuff. There's a lot of, you know, you guys sit and discuss every date, discuss everything, and what does it mean? And do you think he's the one? And do you think this is, I've never had those conversations. I've never, like, you know, like, no guy is like, you know, when you get asked about, so again, like, this goes into societal, like, what are we talking about? And what gets in your head? When I go sit for, you know, a beer with a friend or go to brunch with a buddy, oh, I went on a date last night. She hot? Let me see what she looks like.
Right.
You know, like,
But you've never sat down with that same friend getting the beer and you're like, I met this girl last night. She was amazing. I had such a great time.
that can happen too. But I'm just saying, like,
It's a quick little blurb. You're not talking the whole time planning the wedding.
well, I'm just saying that happens just less. Like, it's not like I would be like, look at this hot chick I went out with, and then that will always happen.
No matter what else happens, this gonna happen. She's a bad bitch and I smashed.
What you're saying can happen. It just doesn't happen every time. What happens every time is you gotta see this chick. Like this chick I hooked up with. And it's like, again, like, it's an icky topic.
It is. I don't really think that women, I think we can go through phases where, and normally it's because somebody has hurt you and you are just now trying to get out of the motions. I think women can go through phases of, I'm having sex and I'm not getting emotionally attached. But I don't think we can live a life like the men do. It's just,
even what you said right now, that doesn't exist to me. Like, the idea of a hoe phase, I'm in it. Till marriage, you know, like, there's no, you know, and it kind of plays into, like, on the dating apps, they'll say, what are you looking for? Every guy says the same thing because it's an out. They'll say, oh, I'm here to have fun, and if the right person comes along, I'll be in a relationship. That's the allowable thing for a guy to say, because it is the truth. And I do think guys believe that of themselves. They believe, I'm here to have a good time, and then if the right person comes along, I will be in a relationship. We all say that because it's true, we believe it, but also that gets us off the hook of being, especially on a dating app, of like, oh, you're just here to fuck.
Yeah.
Right? And you go, well, no, I would.
Maybe.
Right.
You're interesting enough.
Right. But again, and I think that's actually a better way to date. Like, the idea of, like, you're on a dating app to find the one, like, I think you're putting too much pressure on yourself.
And then I think sometimes people, they don't have fun when they do that, because it's like you're taking it so serious. You're acting like it's a job search. And it's like, calm down a little bit and get to know the person that you're having these experiences with and figure out if you actually like it, instead of doing, like, interview style stuff.
Right. And let good people go. You know, that's the thing. It's like you see in like breakups. Like, I will say, you talk to a guy about his exes, unless they were divorced, a lot of guys, like I would say, like well-adjusted guys are like, they're the best. Love her, love her, love her. They don't have like 30 tales of like being traumatized, the horrible. They want to go. No one is nicer to an ex than a guy. Like, oh, I love her. She was unbelievable. And then you see with a lot of women that are like get out of relationships, and they got to find a way to make this guy an evil guy because you need the reason to tell your friends that it ended. And most of the time, the reasons were just not the match.
Yeah. And why are we faking the funk? Like, let's move on.
We don't even need to be mad about this.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. And I think when you make it a business and you need reasons for why did you break up? Why did you end it? Why did we not go on the third date? I don't know. It's not that personal.
I didn't think about you, so.
I think that's why men have like the upper hand in dating when people are dating for marriage, because it's like women are just like, I hope I find, we're going out, not all of us, not us specifically, but naturally women are going out into the world like, I hope I find my husband, I hope I find my husband. And the men are actually picking.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just saying yes to whatever wants to do the things that you would like done to you.
It goes back to it's not fair, but it does exist, the biological clock thing. Like,
So then you get to a point where you're like, I just have to take him because he wants me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
really
want a
sad.
baby.
I don't want y'all to be out here doing that.
Well, you have to also trust, again, it goes back to, we talked about this at the beginning, like, you have to trust that ghost exists. So if you're out there and you're like you're stressing, you go, okay, I'll let this slide. Yeah, sure, I saw Bumble pop up on his phone, but, I don't want to go back out there.
Right.
Like, I think, like, a lot of times, a lot of women make each other so fearful of single life. Like, because all you hear about at the brunch table is the horrific stories. Not the, I went on a first date, it was okay. I think
it was great. I was just about to say,
Right.
the girls don't even want to hear the positive stuff. You start being too positive about your dating life or a relationship, everyone's like, you can't come next time.
Yeah, you're bragging.
They want you to be like, let's all talk shit about everybody.
And it goes, and listen, I don't mind. You want to talk shit on someone? Fuck yeah, I love talking shit. I just think for like the greater atmosphere of your single friends or your friends that are in relationships that are just okay, you're not really helping them feel safe going into single world. Like it's a lot of meh dates. That's okay. Like it's a lot of interviews. It's a lot of shit you don't want to do. It's a lot of Tuesday night drinks. You'd rather be at home doing a face mask. I get it.
Right. I know. I love to be at home.
It's hard. I'm glad I'm not in it anymore, but good luck to y'all.
Right.
Okay, we're going to move on to Indecisive Diane. And when we come back, we have some advice for you.
Would you stop thinking about what everyone wants? Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want? What do you want?
Hey, ladies. Sorry, my voice is gone. I've been partying with someone's son all weekend. But listen up. This weekend, CockTales Dirty Discussions will be live in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 15th. Doors open at 6 p.m. It's at the Comedy Zone. The show starts at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Make it a date night. Make it a ladies' night. Make it a girls' night. Make it a solo night. Hell, have a good time. Let loose. Let your hair down.
I actually wanted to ask you, Jared, to give us a good date spot in New York, because you know a lot of spots.
I know all the spots. I live in the West Village. I think that area is like perfect for a date. I am really into a coffee wine hybrid place. I just think as a description of a first date, coffee wine hybrid. If someone's sober, they can get a coffee. You can get a high-end coffee. You can get it doesn't feel like you just got coffee. So, and also you can get a glass of wine. There's a great place, St. Jardim, that's in the West Village, that I think is like great. And it's on a corner that you can travel from. So if you have a good time at St. Jardim, hey, let's go to Wilfie and Nell across the corner. They got it's more of a cocktail place, so and then there's that whole area though, just presents date. St. Ambrose is around there. That's a high-end coffee. St. Ambrose is like an expensive coffee place. You wouldn't you'd be like, who would go here every day?
Do they have food though? Because we need some.
I think they got food. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Pastry,
All these
Some little croissant or something.
But
all
that's
these
a
places
good
have food
point.
actually. Now
So
that I
go
think
somewhere
about
where
it.
you can move around. So if it does go well, so if you're planning dates, y'all should think about that. Like, where could we go next when you pick this spot, so that you don't have to figure it out later if things go well.
But
Right.
remember, just because y'all hop around to 5 different places and you have a good time, that doesn't mean he likes you.
But
But
I
he
think
probably will be ready to fuck at the end of the night.
That's
so.
right.
So
A guy will stay
Wipe
on a
up.
date for 6
Have your
weeks to
Lumi
fuck.
have your Lumi wipes and your deodorant, because trudging around in New York, I don't know how y'all have one night stands. Everybody stinks. We've been on the train all day, and now you trying to fuck. Well, I need to take a shower.
You guys are so funny because we were talking about like New York City and how difficult it is. Like you got to have money to like be able to like live
To breathe.
well. But New York City, living here, is just constant trade-offs. That's the hard part. Is like there's a lot of like uncomfortable things you have to be okay with just because you're here. So like the ability to like walk out of your door and go to like 6 bars in one area, you have to be okay with the idea of like, I don't have a car that I can like sit in and be comfortable and have my own space. Like, but no one understands that if you don't live here. Like the minute you get here, you're like, why am I not comfortable? And then you like 2 years in, you go, oh yeah, because I've just made a lot of rationalizations for a place that's kind of annoying to live in. Yeah. But I've been here for 15, 16 years almost.
So
And
you're just used to the high level
well,
stress.
right? And you like
of
even
the day.
right, and also like I'm just used to just being like, that's New York. You know, you go like my mom. I remember I got an apartment. My mom goes, "Is there a parking space?" I was like, "Are you out of your
parking
fucking
space?
mind?"
A parking space for what?
Yeah, next to the butler's pantry. Like what?
Right. Okay. Oh,
Before we move on to advice, I wanted to just bring this up one time, because you, in one of your stand-ups, you talked about signs that it's time for you to maybe take a break on dating. This most recent one, your new material. And I thought that was so hilarious.
Thank you.
You literally, he was like, there are certain people that you just need to take a break from dating, because
I agree.
you
I've
sit
done
down and you're like, you gave the example of like, you're like, what's your type? You're like, I wanted, and you go into these details where it's just like, you're not even happy anymore
Right.
to be doing this. And so what do you think are some signs that a woman or a man need to take a break?
Well, I
from
say
dating?
this in the stand-up, and I do believe it as truth, is if you can't make a true story cute, you should take a break. Because your job on a first date, especially a first date, is to tell the truth. And also make it fun and cute. That takes a lot of energy. That you don't do like
does.
telling a story, you have to be like ready to like, here we go. And you gotta be excited about it. If you're not excited to tell your story, take a break. And again, your story. Because you can't be like a stand-up show. I don't go to the show hoping someone will scream out. If they do, and it creates a moment, we're going to make a moment. But I come prepared with a plan. So I come prepared to tell my cute stories. So on a date, it's the same thing. Be prepared to tell your cute stories. If you're not excited to tell your cute stories, maybe you shouldn't go out with this person. Maybe you shouldn't be going on a date in general.
it's okay to sit at home.
Sit at home, y'all.
Right.
Don't stress yourselves out and wear yourselves out. Give that pussy a break.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Nothing
so-
better than sitting at home on the couch looking at your phone, just nothing.
Right.
great.
I love it. Okay. So, you guys, we are going to move on to the advice. If you have an advice question that you would like to ask us, make sure you email us advice@cocktailspod.com. Okay.
You have one pulled up, or you want me to read it?
I have one pulled up. Okay. This one is titled Sneaky Link. Hey, Kiki and Medinah. I have been loving your podcast. I'm a fairly new listener, but I've been trying to listen to all of your episodes ASAP because they're so good. Thank you. Love the compliments. Anyways, I'm 24 years old, and I started seeing this guy in college about 2 years ago. He was my sneaky link for about a year, and then I just decided to drop him because I knew it wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, maybe it's time for someone new. The sex was so good. I'll admit, I think I was a little dick whipped. It happens. Anyway, time passed on, and about a year later, he started liking all of my Instagram stories, and I started to like his back because, I mean, you know, just to see what happens. Okay. He slid in my DM shortly after and tried to ask me out, but I ended up flaking because I had other things to do that day. I thought he wasn't going to invite me out again because it's been a while since we've seen each other. But then he invited me to his birthday party, and I told my friend jokingly, like, guess who invited me? But she actually said, let's go, because it was her birthday weekend too, and she didn't have any plans. So I said, fuck it. And I mean, girl, I'm pretty sure you can guess what happened after. We fucked that night. I knew it was going to happen. Here's where it gets more complicated. Well, it wasn't complicated.
None of this is complicated.
Right. But okay.
Two people wanted to fuck.
And you did it. Okay. I thought it was just going to be a one-time thing because honestly, it wasn't as good as I remembered. But then he invited me over again, and OMG, the sex was so amazing. It was the best it's ever been. I remember after thinking about how good it was, he even just blurted out, our sexual chemistry is too good. Why did we stop again? And I was literally thinking the exact same thing. It was so good. He had my nipples cream. Are you pregnant?
His nipples cream.
How do
Her
your
nipples cream.
I think something's wrong, baby
It's
girl.
like a substance came out.
Yeah, it should not be doing that, but okay.
Right.
At first I went into this thinking that it was just a good fuck, but then he started telling me stuff about how his friends loved me after meeting me at this party and thought that I would be good for him. He took me out on dates and even invited me on a double date, which he had never done before, so I was surprised. And I started to think that he might actually like me. After I thought about it, I realized I liked spending time with him and that we had a great connection. I was starting to get excited about potentially being in a relationship with him.
Them emotions. It was supposed to be just fucking.
Right.
But then I came over one night, we hooked up, and then he trauma dumped on me. Oh, hell. Like literally right after we both came, he told me his dad was dying. Like I didn't even know what to say. Obviously, I felt bad. But when he started talking about his ex, and I was like, what the fuck? I asked if he still had feelings for her, and he said that he'll always care for her, but he wouldn't go back to her. And then something about how he has trust issues because of her and blah, 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 blah. I zoned out because I don't want to hear anything more. So after he walks me out to my car, I asked him if this thing between us was just a friend situation type of thing. I didn't know if it was bad timing though because of the situation with his dad, but I was like so annoyed with him talking about his ex. I was like, whatever, I just need to know because I have PTSD with exes. So he said something like, oh, I obviously consider you more than a friend because I wouldn't have told you all of that stuff about my dad. If you want to label, then I guess for now, yeah. But I like spending time with you and we can see where this goes. So I said, okay, that's fine. I just want you to be honest with me. I don't care. I just rather know now where your head is at because I was still figuring out what I wanted to. Even though he brought up his ex, I was worried about him because he told me he was going to go to the hospital the next day to see his dad. So I tried texting him to see how he was doing and no response. But a week later, he posted on Instagram that his dad passed. So I was thinking he's probably going through a lot and just didn't want to talk. So I reached out again to say sorry for your loss. And if you need someone to talk to, I'm here for you. And this man still didn't reply. Like, not even a thank you. I'm just like, how can you tell me all that and then just ghost me after? 2 months later, he just randomly replied to one of my Instagram stories. We talked for a little bit, but I ended the convo quick and left him on red. How is he going to do that and then act like nothing happened? I guess I just want advice because I'm so confused. Like, why even DM me after he ghosted me? And why tell me all that personal stuff and then not even reply with a thank you? I haven't really been able to stop thinking about him. I want to reach out so bad, especially because I know how good the sex is, but I shouldn't, right? I know this was a little long, but thanks for reading. What do you guys think? Sign, confusion, sad.
I love when we have men here to answer the questions because sometimes I'll be like, I don't know.
What do you think?
I think that this man wanted it to be just sex. And then she kind of started forcing the talk about something more serious. And then he didn't want to be rude, but he still wants to have sex with her. I also think when his dad died and he didn't respond, you can't even expect somebody to... I'm not sure I would respond to just everybody who texts me. And
you're not the only person texting him.
Right. So. And that's a lot. You might not even be looking at your phone.
He could really be depressed.
But I also would reach out if I really was like, I can't stop thinking about him. I have to FaceTime you right now. And I need to tell you that I love you.
I think she's it's interesting because she's expecting him to plot in the same way that she's plotting. Mm-hmm. This guy is not thinking that far ahead. He's saying, this is a person I trust. This is a person I like. This is a person I'm attracted to. That's really like all he's thinking of. So I'm attracted to them, so I'm going to DM. I trust them, so I'm going to tell them a bunch of stuff going on in my life. I like them, so I'm going to DM again. And she's like looking for him to put her in a box the way she's put him in a box. She's, you know, like, she's like, he's just my guy. What did she call him? The sneaky link?
The sneaky link, yeah.
What is that?
So that's like when you might be sleeping with somebody, you don't tell all your friends about it because
Right.
you're kind of sneaking around and you don't want to talk about it because your friends are going to tell you, girl, stop this.
Like nobody knows y'all are fucking.
Right. Well, that's even, she's put him into a box with that.
With that title.
That title, she has him in this I can't tell my friends about him box. Then she moves it to we're back to fucking box. Then she starts saying, I could see, you know, I actually enjoy my time with him. I'd like to move him into this new box. And then instead of just owning that, which you should do, I do think she's allowed to be like, hey, I enjoy. She starts going, well, I need to hear him say, I'm in that box so that I can be brave enough to put him in the box for myself. And it's like, if you're looking to like someone because they give you permission, then you're going to be fucked. It's not going to work. And that's kind of what she's doing. She's looking for permission from him to care about him, to like be honest that she cares about him. Or would like
That's
to
what a
try.
lot of people do. Too.
A lot of people do
way.
that. Like, I don't think she's like crazy. I think all this is totally normal.
And people don't want to get their feelings hurt.
Right.
And
they
you got
also don't.
excited when the friend said, oh, I think you would be good for him. That excited you. And you was
Right.
like, maybe you're right. And that's okay.
That's okay. And you know what? He does this thing, and what he's doing is like, it's hard because he's like, when he's getting excited, he's around her. Oh, my friends like you. And, you know, we have this great sexual chemistry. It's like, yeah, we know. I know. What I feel is what you feel. Like, we're not that different. But I think she's afraid of losing him. And so she's not willing to say, like, if I were her, what I would do is, you know, at this point, you know, and then his dad passes away. Of course, you don't text. You know, sometimes you lose track of people when people pass away. You're going through an emotional time. He has a right to not text you after that. But he comes back over DM because, again, here's one thing that I can promise her. Guys love vague options. So we love like someone that we know is attracted to us. And guys will never, you know, if they were attracted to you once, they don't really fall out of that attraction.
They will fuck again.
Right. So like, he knows you are someone who has said yes to his naked body before. You are a friendly place to come back to because you've already done this. You've already come back to each other after a year of not talking. So he knows that this has been allowed before. So he's DMing you again because he's like, okay, this is a woman I know likes me and likes my sex. So why wouldn't I? This is a place where I can come to feel good. So again, it's not that plotted. It's not that personal. It's
You
like,
came across the timeline and he was like, oh, yeah, I haven't talked to her in a while. I
right.
haven't seen her in a while.
And hey, what's up? And because she hasn't given all, like, because she keeps holding back, she's not giving the rules. So if she had said to him, and I'm not blaming her, but I think if she like called him and was like, hey, I was starting to get to like you, and all of a sudden you disappeared. That made me angry. If you ever want to like come back to me, we have to start at like dating, because that's what I'm looking for from you. I think that's the only way she can like message it. She can't go back to him,
direct.
right? But she
And
can't
he might say no.
He might, and you have to
Right.
be prepared for that.
She can't like hold herself to first like, oh, you guys have a history. So what ends up happening in this situation a lot of times is she goes back to him and is like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, sorry. And then they end up hooking up again. She's already said, I'm past hookup phase. I'm looking to maybe date this person. if he won't do that, he's never going to be more than what he's been.
You just have to move it around.
You heard it from a man's mouth.
Yeah, like all his moves aren't surprising to me at all. But
Sounds very typical.
It's
We hear this story
very
all the time.
typical.
The men
yeah.
folk will play with your feelings if you let them. Y'all better stop letting them do it.
Right, but also he has no feelings in the game.
At all.
He's never had, he said some nice things and he
Yeah.
believes them.
Yeah. And y'all are young. He's like 24. I imagine he's around the same age. Like, everybody's confused.
Right,
Like,
learn the game early. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on to our cocktail segment. So I was telling you what the cocktails are. It's like a sex related story. It could be embarrassing, funny, romantic. If you don't have one, you can read one, but I really hope you have one.
Once upon a time, not long ago, I was a hoe.
I'm trying to think.
Do you need an example first?
Yeah, let me hear an example.
Okay, I'll read one that a listener sent in. This one's not that long. It's titled Secret Weapon. Hey, girls. I firstly wanted to say I absolutely love your podcast. I have been binge listening for years. It popped up in my head during an episode recently that I might have a weird sex story. And so this is a weird sex story, but it's also a cocktail. And maybe their listeners can relate. So when I was with my ex, I decided to get an IUD for many reasons. I thought it was the best option for me at the time. That shit hurt. And did y'all know that they pierce a hole in your cervix when they're putting in the torture device? I didn't know that.
Didn't.
Anyways, that's not even the point. My ex complained within the first few weeks that it was uncomfortable and he could feel it during sex. I went to my doctor that basically said he was lying, but they trimmed the strings anyways to see if it would help. Fast forward 1 or 2 more appointments where they kept trimming the strings after my boyfriend would complain. I'd be like, you gotta take it out. Just take it out. The sex sucked during this whole period because he felt it every time he thrust. Finally, my boyfriend at the time literally got a cut on the head of his dick. It couldn't be more than 2 or 3 centimeters big, and it wasn't bleeding or anything, but he was in so much pain he had to get a letter to take off work. Finally, I would be mad. I'm suing the doctor.
Right.
Who is the doctor? Finally, I went to the doctor again, and apparently it was the first time they tried using their hands to feel it. And surely enough, the IUD had been halfway out the whole time, and he cut himself on the end of it. They told me it hadn't been working as long as it had been in, like that thing, and thankfully I wasn't pregnant. So yeah, thank you ladies for listening, and I love you so much. I hope you got it taken out, and I really hope a lawsuit can be had.
It's just the amount of fucking around down there. Like, I'd be like so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It is uncomfortable. It's a lot.
Normally the cocktails are a little nastier than that. That one was scary and sad.
Right.
I know.
There was I did. I'm trying to think. I have felt the strings.
Really?
I think so.
I don't think you're supposed to.
You're not supposed to, but I definitely. I know. I am an idiot. Like most guys, I'm an idiot. Like with this shit. Like I'm just like, what I feel. It's just like I'm like, what? There's strings, but they're like pointy, and I don't know. I feel like the fucking dumbest person alive.
I never had an IUD.
Do you have a cocktail?
I'm trying to think.
An embarrassing date, an embarrassing story, and it could be
or
embarrassing.
really nasty, like juicy, sexy.
The best sex. Of
I
your
have
life.
no. So I have stomach issues. So like a lot of times, if I like go out with someone and we like go and eat, and just like I said before, like I'll order everything, and I like stomach issues that I don't admit to. So I'm like, so I have had many occurrences where like I'm with someone and then like I have to run to the bathroom and like do the thing where I'm like flushing at the same time as shitting, like flushing, and just sitting there like I can't, and I'm in a small apartment, so I just like, and it's funny because like I've never heard back about this, but I'm just thinking of like all the people out there that are like, yeah, this
I
guy
knew what
like
was going on. You're texting me,
exploded.
like, he's really in here taking a dookie. I smell
I hear
it.
it.
Coming
And
through
he
the...
keeps flushing. He's
Right.
flushed 7 times. Should I go?
Right. It's like, yeah, look, he keeps flushing in there.
Have you ever had anybody comment on it like, do you want me to leave or do you need...
No, it hasn't happened enough. It's not like there's like all these people I don't think, but I'm like, I always think it's funny that like I'm out here talking about dating and relationships a lot. And like, I'm not an expert. I'm just someone giving their honest opinion and from my point of view. And, you know, the sex stuff I always like hearing because it's funny. It's interesting. But I'm always wondering if there's someone out there that'd be like, can you believe this fucking guy who went to the bathroom and shit himself is out there talking about dating like he knows anything. It's like, yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
Well, Jared, thank you.
You guys are like, so that's enough for us.
I'm trying to think about that. I feel like that's happened to me where I was at a guy's house and he was taking his shit and he was just in there way too long. I left.
You left?
I left. I sent him a text. I was like, hey, are you okay? Do you need anything? He was like, no, I'm fine. You're not fine. I said, I'm going to go. But if you need something, let me know. I'll go puff it.
The times when that has happened to me and I really know I have to go, I'm like, I tell them, I just like to get the embarrassment out of the way. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my stomach, but I have got to go up in here.
I know,
and
that's
blow
like
it
the
up.
better way to go. Because like, it's just
something.
like, I need you to leave the premises and I need to explode.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to text you when I
Another
finish.
time, but this is going to be a minute, I can tell.
And it's nasty. I need to shower and just go to sleep afterwards.
And fumigate my apartment.
Thank you so much for
You
coming,
guys are the
Jared.
best.
Thank
This was so
you.
much fun. I really appreciate you guys.
We
having me.
appreciate
Thank
you coming.
so much.
Hopefully we can collaborate with you again on anything else.
Love it.
It would be amazing. We don't love New York, but we love you. We do have a gift for you.
Stop it.
It's butt plugs.
Oh, please.
There
I
is
hope
a butt
it-
plug in there.
Oh,
So
thank
tell
you.
your girls. I have a coffee mug in there that says coffee is not a date. That's why it's so funny. He was talking about going to these coffee dates.
yeah,
And
coffee.
we're going to give you a what is it called? A deck.
card
It is a butt plug. Look at that.
names.
The
It's a pretty
small.
one.
Okay, cool.
Just try it out. Let everybody know where they can find you. Our listeners would probably love to listen to some of your stuff.
At Jared Freid on Instagram. And if you have Netflix, 37 and Single, it's on streaming right now and you can watch. It's got dating jokes. It's got dating app jokes, breakups, gender reveals, nighttime eating, all the good stuff. People trying to fix you up. It's all, as you said, relatable is like, I like being a relatable comic. So like, I think if you want, and especially here's the nice thing, and you gave this compliment to me as well, is like, your boyfriend didn't know who I was. And like, I do love that, like, you and your boyfriend or whoever you're dating is gonna like it. Like because I think sometimes stand-up comedy gets, you know, it's tough to find someone that works for everyone.
Right. It can be a great first date or it could be a bad date. It's just like, this was
Right.
not funny. Why did we do this? And I want to go home. But if it's funny, then you're like, oh, now we got conversations to have.
Right. So this is like a great night on the couch with someone you're seeing, stand-up special, and I think, yeah, and I'm on the road, but at Jared Freid is where you can find everything on
Thank you
Instagram.
so
Thank you
much,
guys so much. You're the
Thank
best.
you. You guys make sure you're following us at CockTales Podcast. I'm at Kiki Said So.
I'm at Coffee Bean Dean.
And until next week, you guys.
Goodbye.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye. Bye. 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 Goodbye.